Hi, good afternoon. So I'm here with the new pistol from Pel Packs. They deliver door to door, and this is the Glock 17. This is a 21 belt magazine. I'm trying to go and keep this as short as possible, but there's quite a lot to talk about. So first of all, what comes in the box. Obviously you have your standard Allen key, put your CO2 in, don't worry about them. And I'll look over them, I'll show you a few things in the manual, quite important. Now if you have a belt fed magazine like the old PPQ M2, obviously originally they were rubber, now they're nylon, which should make them more robust. And a lot of the rubber belts fractured, basically because they were under so much stress. So things they didn't mention in the manual is, first of all, make sure you pre-seat the pellets, okay, very important. And also, every 500 shots, make sure you lubricate the belt in the 2 points with a bit of silicone oil, yeah, every 500 shots it says, just to lubricate the actual movement of the belt. And what I use a little cocktail stick. So I put the pellet in the belt 2 at a time and just push it down to about probably, so the skirt's like 1 millimetre or 2 millimetres below the actual surface of the belt, as long as it's not sticking out. It's quite important. So yeah, if you do that, you shouldn't have any issues. Just occasionally, if the pellets are poor fit, it might vibrate forward, and so you can't pull the trigger to rotate the belt. And if you do get that, make sure you always have a cleaning rod or something, so you can push the pellet back into the belt through the barrel. Yeah, you'll feel it and push it, go back inside the belt, and then it'll be fine. But that happens very rarely. It's just the nature of the pellet and the hard belt, okay, the plastic belts. So anyhow, let's move on. So what we've got, you've got obviously your Glock 17. Now this has got some nice branding on it. See, let's bring it in a bit so we can have a closer look. Okay, obviously your Glock brand on the grip. And then we turn it around. So this is actually fixed, this one, it's fake, but the other one obviously does work. The holdover on this side does work. It doesn't obviously hold open on the final shot like a BB, because it doesn't know when the last shot is, because it's a constant rotating belt, okay? But you can, if you want to lock it back, you can lock it back like that, see, manually, and you can have a look inside. So you can see where the barrel starts there. That's fully rifled, it goes all the way to the end. So it's a decent length rifle barrel. Looks good quality. Blowback is really nice. If I release it, it's a nice snap forward. Got a rail underneath. Now that's one of your safety. That's a manual safety. Let them have it. Totally pointless. And if you put a laser on it, you'll never be able to reach it anyhow. So you've got your normal Glock safety here. Okay, so that's good. Sight-wise, yeah, you can see the sights. Nice white sights, fixed front and back. But I'll show you in a bit that they actually shoot pretty straight. Okay, really nice grip. Right, so moving on, you've got the magazine. Now this is your magazine here, and to load it, you've got this gate here. So if I just push this gate across like that, and it exposes the 2 holes there on the belt. Like I said, just put your 2 pellets in, set them in, and just push your pellet head. So the skirt is just below the surface, maybe 1 millimetre or 2, so they won't move backwards or forwards yet. Because it's a nylon belt and not a rubber, it is actually harder, so it should be more durable. So obviously I will be doing a long term on the Glock. The PPQ M2, which I've had for nearly 3 years, started with rubber belt. It's just had an nylon belt. It works really smoothly. The actual pistol and the whole lot rotates really smoothly. This is quite stiff to rotate at the moment, but it is brand new, so we've got to give it a bit of time. So yeah, time will tell. It could be just the belt. Yeah, the belt obviously looks different to the new spare belts that have just come. See how much it's not quite white. The new belts are totally white, but these are a bit off colour. So it could be an older, earlier version of the belt maybe. So yeah, well, as long as it works, yeah, and it should bed in. As I said, the PPQ M2 has done over 4,000 pellets. If you go back 2.5 years ago and look at the videos I did when I first had it, brand new, it had an issue where the slide was popping off. I've fixed that by putting a stronger recoil spring in, and it works fine, okay? But it is very smooth in cycling and shooting. The trigger's really smooth. Obviously this has got CO2 in it, but obviously I know there's definitely no pellets in this, so I can show you the blowback. So yeah, because it's a double action only, so if you fire it, pull it now, basically you rotate the belt to that point, you'll hear it click, and then it fires, okay? Like that. Okay? So good blowback, good solid blowback. That's your mag release there, like all Glocks. Press it. No spring-loaded plunger on it, but this is a heavy magazine. It just drops out. And the thing I have noticed about the difference between the nylon and the rubber grips inside, so they don't come out very cleanly. But these are great, okay? And I can see my daughter. So these are really good. The nylon belts are much tougher than the rubber. And you should have had to pre-seat them with the rubber, but the thing about the rubber, because it's stretched, and the pellet could move backwards and forwards, and if it came backwards, it'd jam. And instead of just stopping the rotation, it'd literally tear the rubber belts. And I used to glue them and make them, and then even then eventually they wore out. So yeah, the nylon should be much more robust. The way these things work as well, I'll just explain how they work. So you put your pellets in that side, you rotate it like that, yeah, 2 at a time, preseat them, keep rotating them, and then you can put that gate across. And this gate sits like that, okay, you can see it there. So as the trigger is pulled, this arrow there tells you which way it rotates. So the pull comes up, rotates the actual belt, and as it rotates almost the full position, on the back of the trigger there's a pin, and it comes out and it pushes that spring-loaded plunger there in, and that stops the actual magazine from rotating, the belt rotating anymore. So it actually locks it in that position, and then it fires the pellet out, and that's how it works. So yeah, they've thought a lot about this. Obviously, in the original PPQ M2, which was the original pistol they used this system on, and obviously they've carried on with other pellet shooters. So I like it. Yeah, doesn't really take that long to load once you get used to the technique. You know, drop 2 in, push, 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 rotate, drop 2 in, push, 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 and once you get used to it, it doesn't take that long to load 21 shots. Obviously, you just clip that back. Yeah, undo that. Put your CO2 in, bit of pellet gun oil, lock it back in position, and that's it. Nice branding on the bottom as well. Okay, so that's the Glock pistol. Now, performance-wise, I like to do a bit of like chrono testing when I get a new air gun, just to see what they do. So what we've got here, I use 2 pellets, my normal 2 pellets, which are my VMX's, which are nice and cheap. They've got like a 4.53mm head, I think, and also the Superfield is a 4.52mm head. And obviously, the larger head size seems to grip like these belts better because it's slightly larger head size. So when you pre-seat them, they seem to sit better, even though they don't punch as nice holes. So information-wise, I've chronographed it with both these pellets, 6 shots, and what I'll do, I'll just show you that. You can pause and have a look. But the performance-wise was very similar. VMX is 8.18 grain, Superfields are 8.4 grain, 6 shots each. VMX are doing 2.18, and the Superfields are doing 2.2 foot-pounds energy at the muzzle, with both at a similar spread of 8 and 9 respectively. So yeah, I was giving about 15-second interval for them to recover because it was quite cool. So it all down to how quickly you shoot these, because obviously in the winter, not ideal situation, but even in our summer, you're going to get 16 degrees, 17 degrees. We're not living in some super duper climate, unfortunately. So yeah, that's the chronograph results. And then that same day, it was yesterday I did that chronograph result, I also managed to get out between the rainstorm and do a bit of like freestanding, and I only put 14 pellets in because I used 12 there. And basically, the first 2 shots I took, because I didn't know where to aim, were up there. So I aimed a bit low. I actually aimed just below that black mark of the circle there. And even though I pulled a few, yeah, they generally grouped around there. So the sights on the Glock seem to shoot really well. It seemed to almost bang on with my eyes anyhow. So what I did today, I also did some freestanding. I did 21 shots, sort of, not free, sorry, semi-rested off a rise back here. At my window, 10 yards, and yeah, the first 2 shots were a little low, but they all grouped, yeah, pretty central. Yeah, I was probably pulling a bit because the actual pull of the trigger is a little bit heavy at the moment with the new belt, but they are grouping nicely. That's the VMX's. Don't punch as neat holes as the actual Superfields, but they're good for like just plinking, and they're cheap, fairly cheap. Okay, so that's the Glock. Now what I also did, I wanted to compare the Glock to the PPQ M2, which is this one here. Now this is my original. This is like 2.5, 3 years old now. This one that's got the new, much harder recoil spring in it, yeah, to stop it from coming off the back. But the trigger, this has had about 4,000 or 5,000, at least 4,000 pellets through, and it's really lovely and smooth. Now this has also got some CO2 in it. I've just tested it, and obviously I know this belt's completely empty. So I'll show you what I mean. But when you cock the hammer, yeah, the hammer cocks at that sort of point there, yeah. So that just cocks the actual trigger, which makes it easier. So if I just flip the laser off, so if I fire this, you see it's also got a similar sort of Glock safety, but you'll see it gets to that point there, and it fires really well, really nice blowback. But the actual spring doesn't allow the slide to come off anymore, which is really great. So pop that magazine out. So what I did with that, I compared that again, semi-rested at 21 shots, same pellet, VMX's, and The first 3 shots I used the fixed sights. Now the PPQ M2 doesn't shoot centrally and at the right height at 10 yards. And to prove that point, I put 3 in there. And you see the ones I've ringed at the bottom, they were iron sights. But luckily, I fitted quite a nice laser on. Yeah, zeroed that up, and you'll see like the other 18 shots were nice and central. Again, semi-rested, not perfectly still, but yeah, not bad at all. So that's the comparison between the 2 pistols. So the Glock seems to shoot with these fixed sights very nicely, very central. The PPQ M2 shoots fairly low, which is why I put the laser on it. But yeah, I really like this. I think it will definitely improve with use. Like all these belts, from brand new, they're quite stiff. The rubber ones were, and the nylon ones certainly are as well, because they're much harder material. But the good thing about the nylon is they shouldn't tear. Yeah, with use. And I plan to put another 2,000 pellets through these 2 belts and see how they perform. If they start to wear or tear, then obviously I shall be making a few notes about this in probably a video. But yeah, they should be. Rubber belts were, like I said, they were tearing at 2,000. The problem wasn't really the belt itself. It was more of a case of the actual pellet was coming backwards, catching the pellet, which was actually literally tearing the belt because the belt's rubber, and it just basically gave way, which is obviously a problem. Okay, so I hope you liked that little video. I hope it didn't bore you to death. It was a little bit too long, but it's sort of like information that you might want to know. So have a great weekend, take care, and thanks for watching.